I'm humbled by the kind words, and I'm humbled by this honor. When I received word that I was to be inducted into the Hall of Honor, all I could think of were the reasons why I did not deserve to be inducted into the Hall of Honor. Thanks, Eej, for not mentioning those. You would know. No, please trust me when I say I'm not puffed up by this. I'm in awe of this. I truly am. This is such a blessing. All I can say is thank you. Out of some fear that this might be my last opportunity, I would like to say a few words to the collegians, if I may. I believe that the American Greek movement grew out of classical Greek philosophy that elevated reason and wisdom and became the foundation for much of Western civilization. Given that our creed implores us to believe, to walk, and to serve, I imagine that our founders subscribed to Aristotle's more practical view of wisdom that married reason with action. Aristotle believed that practical wisdom is the master virtue because it informs all other virtues and is vital for a healthy society and a fulfilling life. Practical wisdom has been summed up as the ability to do the right thing at the right time and for the right reason. Practical wisdom understands that perceived virtues can be misapplied and turned into faults, such as when frugality leads to miserliness or self-reliance leads to stubborn pride. It believes that virtue is often found between extremes. For example, courage lies between cowardliness and recklessness. Loyalty lies between fickleness and blind obedience, and love lies between hate and idolatry. Absent practical wisdom, a seven-year-old is expelled from school for shaping his hand like a gun. An overprotected child enters the world unable to fend for himself. Or, as Dr. Boschini suggested, a teenager ends up in the hoosegow for mischief that should require only parental discipline. While practical wisdom is essential for a well-ordered society, it is undermined constantly by increases in societal complexity, specialization, and bureaucracy, by bigotry, political correctness, and moral hazards, by unintended consequences, perverse incentives, and an avalanche of data and information, by the dent of popular culture, the fog of human conflict, and frankly, by utopian dreaming. Maury Gaston hinted at all of this. The moral authority of traditional media has been replaced by the banality of social media. Even much of organized religion seems to have lost its way. And with that, many lose hope. Here's the good news. Through it all, for 145 years now, Sigma Nu has been a rock. It has kept to ideals that provide the antidote for societal ills. It has served as the vehicle for the communication of those ideals from generation to generation. Our quest for truth, in particular, is essential to the acquisition of practical wisdom. Don Humphreys and Maury Gaston both spoke eloquently about this. A quest for truth requires a heroic, lifelong pursuit of moral knowledge. through the exercise of reason and free will. It understands that while we cannot control a sordid world, we can control our response to it, and that the greatest privilege granted a man is that of being happy with his response in the hour of his death. It is incumbent, therefore, that each of you set off on a quest for truth. You can prepare by learning critical thinking skills, determining your core values, expanding your intellects, learning to deliberate, and setting your goals. Attending convocations such as this, studying abroad, walking Spain, could be part of your personal quest. It is just as incumbent upon us alumni to hand down the practical wisdom we have gained through experience. We have known failure and learned not to fear it, as Ken Kendrick spoke. We have seen excellence and know to pursue it, as Don Humphreys spoke. Our shrine, our creed, our exemplary fraternal staff, and all of the other auspices of our great fraternity arm us well to provide a helping hand. So in summation, I believe Sigma Nu is a creative force for the development of virtuous men, men who are imbued with the practical wisdom needed to reach their full potential, to live their lives to the utmost, to flourish and to be happy. I believe that Sigma Nu and organizations like it are essential to the perpetuation of civilization as we know it. And I believe that the future leaders of our society are seated in this room tonight, and they will be the hope and the light of the world one day very soon. And finally, I believe that leaders need to be groomed by their forebears, and that I, for one, could not be happy in the hour of my death if I did not try to help. Thus, I have tried to help. So be humble, but go confidently in the direction of your dreams, exalting virtue and prizing every noble impulse, knowing that a phalanx of Sigma Nus have your back. We always will. We appreciate that you let us. It has been a great privilege in my life. Again, thank you, and good night.